to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine. Today we're going to be putting together the cards from our Quilted Star inspired gift box, scraps. And we used a sheet of paper from our Endless Meadows tone-on-tone paper pack. It was the one with the lavender on one side and kind of the yellowed design on the opposite side. And as you can see here, I kind of have my first card pieced out and ready to go. I don't have anything stuck down yet because I kind of like to get a feel for where the pieces can go on the card. It just makes it easier with working with the scraps to actually put the card together. So I have this was a 2-inch strip that was left from cutting a lot of our other strips, and I'm going to opt to put them together on the front of the card. I've taken one of our blank card bases and I've cut 1/4 inch off of the front face of the card, mostly because when I went to put the scraps on, we had a little bit of white space. And for this particular card, I didn't really feel like it fit. In other cards, I will use where I have cardstock showing through or even the blank card bases, but for this one, I just didn't feel like it really fit as well. So I decided to go ahead and cut a little bit off the front of the card, and it actually makes a nice little extra design to the front of the card. So I'm just placing these on the front. We do have a slight overlap with our pieces, and I've gotten one of my pieces, the top one, is off just a little bit, and I was using my regular tape runner, so I need to get my multi-purpose tool, which is super handy to have. I am using my regular tape runner, which isn't quite as easy to maneuver and get up as the repositionable, but for these larger strips for a card, it usually works out fine to use the regular tape runner. So there we go, I've straightened that out. And now I have a couple of squares I've cut, and this was from our 1 3/4 inch strips. And I've just cut it down, and I'm gonna have the pattern on the paper running across the card. So all of our blank cards are the standard A2 size. They're typically 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 across. Here we go. And so this is another one of those 1 3/4 inch squares. And these are going to be across the top of my card. Grabbing my multi-purpose tool again. I don't know why these things aren't wanting to cooperate nicely with me today, but that's okay. That's why we have tools that can help us make these adjustments easily without frustration. So I also had 2 other, and these I believe are our 1 1/2 inch. I have my 0 centering ruler here just so I could let you all know what size these strips were from, just in case you do decide to go ahead and make these cards with some of your strips. You'll know what size pieces to put in. And again, I'm having the stripes all run the same direction. Just think it gives it a little bit more of a cohesive feel. And then I'm going to layer these other 2 kind of going diagonally through the card. Sometimes it's just kind of nice to have a fun way to redistribute some of these squares. We had a lot of little strips that we cut from our quilt-inspired layout that went onto our box. So here, this is going to be kind of a little bit more diagonal here, going across our card. There we go, and this one needs to straighten out just a little bit here. And part of our Endless Meadow collection We have stickers and we have little embellishments, and part of our embellishment pack come with these little enameled pieces, buttons that you can use on your cards or on your pages. And I've decided to use some of the raised ones. I've taken two of the lavender looking ones. I'm going to put onto the corners, and these already have adhesive on them. The hard part's going to be finding the backing of the little enameled dots here. And if these are a little bit too small or too hard for you to hold on to, grab your multi-purpose tool again and help you place them on. You can take it and use it to help you even lift it up off of the clear plastic thing that's holding it, the little plastic paper, I guess. I guess it's not really paper if it's plastic. There we go. And for me, it's just easier to go ahead and use my fingernails and go ahead and get those placed. And then I also picked out two of our stickers. I have this butterfly that looks like it's landing, and so I love that it had this motion to it because it matches our diagonal motion that we kind of have going on with our card. And we have this little flower that also has the motion to it as well. And yes, we could use foam squares, but I'm choosing not to on this particular card. So that is our first card from scraps. And a lot of times just looking at it, you wouldn't even know that we pieced it together from scraps. It looks like we designed it to be that way, which we kind of did. So for the second card, I have taken, and I've actually, you can almost see where I had to cover a gap. And then I created almost a ribbon look going down and through the card. This also, I believe, well, this was part of our 1 3/4 inch. But on this card, we're going to have the design of the paper running vertically. And I'm going to go ahead and place it across the top of the card. I cut this to the 5.5 inches to go across our card. And I left our card front as it is. There we go. And so what I'm going to do, oh, my tape runner just ran out. This gives me an opportunity to show you all how easy it is to change our tape runners. You just push on this little tab on the top and bottom. We have this cartridge that pops out. It runs red at the end, so you know your tape runner has indeed finished. And then we have just a simple refill that'll pop right in. And we're going to be back in business here in just a few seconds. Once I get that lined up, there we go. And there we have it. You just line things back up, make sure your end is going, there's a little tab that goes inside, and I'm back with my tape runner again. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my other longer piece. Actually, I believe I centered that over these. Okay, so I'm going to piece in these two squares that I had that are, is that 1.5? That's our 1.5 inch. And again, running vertically with the design, but I needed something to cover up. This is a larger white space than what would have been on this other card, because remember, I just cut 1/4 inch off of here, and you can see this is a much larger area. It's closer to 3/4 inch through the middle of the card. So I really wanted to cover it up, and again, by the time we're done, whoever you decide to give this card to won't even know that we made it from scraps from another project. So we're going to run our, okay, this is not even, hang on. multi-purpose tool again here to lift up my other piece because I kind of like where it's resting on this side. And you can tell this also is another one of our 1.5 inch pieces. So we're going to line these up going across the card, and I want to make sure that this end is in line with my other end. So there we go. All right. So we have our nice strip going all the way across. It looks almost like a little band of ribbon going across there. And then I had this other extra little, again, I think this was another 1.5, but it wound up being 1.5 by 1.25. But with the way the design is running, I actually am able to use it again over some of our lavender paper here. And I'm just going to kind of center it over just a little bit. And then we have this piece that I'm going to run vertically as well, but I'm going to run these other two slightly narrower strips underneath it. So let me measure these for you as well. And my lavender I have going, the lavender is going vertically as well up the page. This piece is 1 inch. And these are about 3/4, and this was part of our 1 3/4 strip. And so I'm going to line this up. And I'm going to try to do similar to what I just did going across the card. And get these all so they kind of match up. So your eye is drawn in that direction and it looks natural. Here we go. Oops, that's not quite to the top, and I have a little piece of my tape didn't want to settle down. There we go. And you can also use you can either use your ruler or your multi-purpose tool to kind of help you get those straight as well. And of course I just placed that one at a slight angle. There we go. Here we go. This one's going to go up and down through here. And again, like I said, this one's just a little bit wider than the other. I have so many papers layered here, I'm trying to pull up the wrong piece. I want this to kind of be running through the center of this overlapping paper, so that way you have just a little bit of a hangover. Here we go. All right. And then I have this little piece of lavender, a lavender stem that was part of our embellishments from this pack. And I'm going to kind of put this here. And I think I'm going to have it going straight up and down. I'm going to get one of my small foam squares. So here is my, just using one small foam square. Peel the backing off. And this is going on to here. It would be a great thinking of you card, maybe even a Mother's Day card. But there are our 2 cards that use up the extra scraps from our Quilted Star inspired box. And we only used part of the paper on the box, so I thought let's go ahead and finish up that page, because I don't know about you, but I don't like having a lot of scraps laying around. So thank you so much for watching today. Until next time.